Thank you, May. Thank you so much. I didn't realize that I was on mute. So glad that you all told me that. Can you hear me now? Somebody say, I can hear you now. Somebody, my husband must not be on because he definitely would have caught that. May, can you hear me? Sister Sherry, can you hear me? Mom, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me now? Can anybody hear me? Y'all got to let me know if you can hear me. May, can you hear me? All right, all right. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here on tonight, May. Listen, so tonight we're going to be talking about stepping fully into what you prayed for. I started off by saying no more shrinking, no more second guessing, no more sitting silent in your season of favor. Because if you are sitting in a season of favor, you're sitting in a blessed place. I also said that in a season, if we are in a season just doesn't last for a day. A season lasts for a while. So you're going to be in this place for a while. So while you're sitting in that blessed place that you prayed for, let's get everything that God has for us. Let's make sure that we are getting every single thing that God prayed for us. And guess what? We're not going to just sit there in silence. Now, let me just tell you, what we're talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about standing tall in your faith. We're going to be talking about wisdom and purpose on tonight. So when you're stepping fully into what you prayed for, I know I am not the only person who has stepped fully into something that I've prayed for. And so if that is you, put it in the chat. Let me know if you're standing in a blessed place, if you're standing in your season of favor. And let me just tell you, if you're not there yet, hang on, because it's coming. It's coming. Don't give up. Don't give up. I told my husband just the other day about making it on broken pieces, because sometimes we can feel like we are in a place of brokenness when we're not where we want to be, but just hang on. Hang on. I remember, and I refer back to this sometimes, that I remember a sermon that a lesson that Sister Henderson taught years ago. And basically what she said, hello there, Jean. Glad you're here with us on tonight. What Sister Henderson told us, she said, we need to tie a knot. It's for those of us that are just hanging on by a thread. Sometimes we can feel like we're just hanging on by a thread. My honey is here. Hey, honey. Sometimes we got to tie a knot in that rope, and we got to hang on by grabbing a hold to that knot. So tie a knot in it, you all. Those of you all that feel like you're just barely hanging in there. Because guess what? If you hang in there, you will eventually get to your season of favor. And let me just tell you, like I said, there is going to be a lot of times, hey, Miss Net, hello, my newly published author. Sometimes we're going to be in a place where it feels like that if we don't let go, we're going to drown. And if we let go, we're going to drown as well. So I'm just going to tell you just to hang on. Just hang on in there. Things will get better by and by. And the old people used to say by and by. By and by, by and by. And I think I was talking to Net the other day, and I think that was Net. It may have been Candace. And we wanted to know, what did the by and by mean? So if you have a clue of what the by and by means, put it in the chat. All right. So some of you all have felt unsure of yourself in the very place that you asked God to take you. And that's what I'm talking about. You've prayed for it, and now that you're there, you're feeling unsure about that. Because sometimes what happens is that when we're walking into a new season, it could be a little bit uncomfortable. You know, when we start talking about the seasons changing in the natural, so for a person who doesn't adapt well to the winter, when the winter comes, sometimes we have to get ourselves together and get our body acclimated to the wintertime. And it may be a little bit uncomfortable. And for those that do not do well in the sun or the summertime, guess what? You may be a little bit uncomfortable outside right about now. But just hang on, because guess what? The seasons are going to change. All right. So some of you all I know have some personal testimonies and some personal stories of some things that what you prayed about, the pressure, and then also the uncomfortableness in it. It's okay to put it in the chat if you want to. You can say, hey, it's me, or put those hearts on there. You know, click those hearts or the like buttons or the thumbs up and let me know that, hey, I've been there. I've been there. Okay. Some of you all may be there right now. Go ahead and do the same thing and let me know, hey, I've been there. What I want you to really get from this tonight, you all, is that you've got to understand that there is some discomfort that follows a breakthrough. And most of the time when we have a breakthrough, that means that we have been going through something. Going through something, okay? And so when the breakthrough happens, that means that the going through, we've actually now gotten to the other side. So you may be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. You may not feel like, hey, this is where I was trying to get to, because this still feels like I was on the other side. But just know, once you become acclimated, everything is going to be okay. All right, I'm seeing some thumbs up, so you know what I'm talking about. You know, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than we could even ask for. But we've got to be able to walk there in it. So let me talk to you about 4 ways to walk boldly into your answered prayer. Okay. First of all, you got to recognize that it's a God thing. It's not a Theresa thing. It's not a Boris thing. It's not a Jean thing. It's not a May thing. It's not a Sherry thing. It's not a Mama thing, and whoever else that may be on here. It's not a Net thing. But it's a God thing, okay? And you've got to be able to recognize that it's a God thing. First of all, you did not manipulate your way in there. God placed you exactly where you needed to be. And because God placed you there, sometimes, like I said, the discomfort for you, or it may be the discomfort for others, you may have that. And for the people who are going to watch this a little bit later, go ahead and put those, go ahead and leave me some comments in the chat. The people that are going to be watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave me some comments in the chat. You've got to also resist your urge to shrink back. Okay, you don't need to be anybody else to be effective. And I can tell you that I recall not too long ago, someone accused me of being trying to emulate or imitate somebody else, or that I was acting like somebody else. And I kind of took a little bit, I don't know what the word is, because I really like me, you all. And I don't think I'm bragging, and I don't think I'm boasting, but I like who God made. I'm fully comfortable in being Theresa. I'm fully pleased with what and who God made. And so, yes, there are some things that I might change about this physical body. There may be some things that I would change about how I react to things or do things. But this hair of mine, guess what? It's different. I am loving this hair of mine. Now, let me just tell you, I haven't always been comfortable with this hair of mine. And it's all me. It's all me. I'm loving it. Ned said, I like you too. I'm so glad, Ned. But let me just tell you. So when that person told me that, I wasn't necessarily offended, but I was a little bit taken back because if I can be the very best Theresa, then I know that God will be pleased. And so I don't want to act like anybody else. I don't want to sound like anybody else. I don't want to look like anybody else. I just want to be me. And I pray and I ask God to always let me represent him well. So if there's anybody that I want to be like, thank you, May. If there's anybody that I want to be like, it's going to be like my creator. Yes, I may look like my mom, but I'm not exactly like my mom. Okay? My children may look like me. Matter of fact, somebody told me today, I was on the phone with Will, and when he walked into the school, and one of the young ladies got on the phone and she said, "Oh, Will, you look just like your mom." You know, my children may look like me, but they're not me. And my girls remind me that all the time. Okay. I need you all to resist the urge to shrink and try to be anybody else, or to try to shrink and not be effective. Because if you try to change who you are, then you're not going to be the person who God created you to be. And the place that you've prayed for to be in, or the circumstances that you've prayed about and you've asked God for, guess what? He's putting the authentic person in that place that he created. Okay? That he created. You have been called for such a time as this. That's what Esther 4:14 says. But I also need you to respond with excellence. I told y'all last week, show up prepared, focused, and humble. When you get to where you've been trying to get to, and this could be a lot of different things. This could be a physical place. This could be a place of employment. This could be in a new community. This could be in a new town. This could be in a new relationship. It could be any place that you have prayed to be. Show up prepared, stay focused, and be humble. Okay? Being prepared, first of all, we talked about the breakthrough. See, you've had some time to get it all together when you were in that state, okay? When you were in that state. All right, let me see what Net's got saying. What Net's got something saying. Sometimes people want us to shrink in order to make them feel better about themselves. You're absolutely right, Net. You're absolutely right. And let me just tell you that you cannot shrink to make other people feel better. Guess what? We all have our own soul salvation. We've got our own individual selves that, guess what? If God did not put in you what he needed in you, guess what? I can't diminish you in order to get what I need. So sometimes what we try to do is, because if we're missing something, we think if we can make the other person feel bad enough about themselves, then we're going to feel better about it ourselves. And that is not so. That is not so. You cannot step on the backs of other people in order to get yourself in a higher position. Because guess what? You're standing on the backs of somebody else. Guess what? They're not always going to be there. They're going to move out of the way, and you're going to go back down to the place where you were. So it's best to try to work on yourself. Work on yourself so you don't have to diminish anybody else. Okay? Because let me just tell you, that's not a good look on people. That is not a good look on people. And so many people are so miserable. Hello there, sweetheart. Yes, I'm so glad that you're here, Shania. I am so glad that you're here. Listen, nobody should make you feel like you are less than in order for them to feel good about themselves, okay? And let me just tell you all this one more thing. And this is what I shared with somebody recently. You set the tone for how other people treat you. You either give them permission to treat you badly, or you give them permission to treat you well. When you begin to notice that they are treating you badly, guess what? It's time to move around. Because if they don't value you, more than likely they don't value themselves. And it's a dangerous person who doesn't value themselves because they will do anything. If they don't care about their life, guess what? They don't care about yours either. Okay? And so what you have to do is you teach people how to treat you. And let me just say this, it may not always start out where you set that tone, but I believe in having courageous conversations and start correcting some things. So let's just say you got started, you stepped into this situation and it was bad and you've allowed it to get worse. All right, now it's time to pull back and say, hey, listen, we need to have a conversation. Either we're going to get it together or we're going to do this. We're going to go our separate ways. And that's okay if you need to go your separate ways. Because sometimes when people go their separate ways, they become better individuals. Yes, their lives are better. And that is okay. That is okay. I don't know how I got onto that, but let me just tell you. Show up prepared, focused, and humble. Remain grateful and not guilty. Okay, Boris. Boris likes that. Remain grateful, not guilty. You are blessed. You're not bragging. Let your confidence inspire others, not intimidate. All right, so I said earlier that I wasn't bragging, okay? You can't stand on the back of someone else in order to stand taller. You're absolutely right, honey. You're absolutely right, because guess what? You're going to fall every time. You're going to fall every time. I said earlier that I was not bragging when I said I really like the person who God created. And what we have to all get to the point of is remaining grateful, but also learning to love the person that we are. And for some of us, that means that we got to do some little bit of soul work. We've got to do some work on ourselves, okay? We've got to make sure that we are standing in the place where God created us. And let me just tell you, some of us don't know who we are as an individual. And you all are probably going to say, how can that be? Let me tell you, it's very real. I was sharing with my family the other day is that I'm trying to really focus and hone in on what I want to do on this social media platform that God has blessed me with. And I don't want to be all over the place. And maybe you all can help me here. I don't want to necessarily be all over the place. And so my children and my husband, who I was talking to, and I was saying, help me to figure out what it is that I want to do. And they were just like, my son was like, well, Mom, what do you like to talk about? And my daughter was like, what do you like to talk about? I think my mother could answer this question. I like to talk about everything, Mom. My mom reminded me of that not too long ago when I was at home. It's like she was telling me, she said, how can you talk so much about so many different things and seem like I never get tired of talking? Well, that's the way God made me. And I absolutely love to talk. And I love to talk about a lot of different things. And I'm thankful that God has blessed me in this mind of mine that and I'm not bragging when I say this, is that I really know a lot about a lot of different things. Maybe it's because I like to read. Maybe it's because I like to research things or whatever. But you can almost give me any topic and I can have something to say. It may not be a lot, but there is a lot of topics that I can talk a whole lot about. So when I say I'm not bragging, I want you all to get to the point where everybody that's listening to me, whether you are on live or you're catching the replay, get familiar with who you are, daughter. Know who you are. We all know whose we are, but get to know who you are and learn to love that person. Okay? Learn to love that person, because what I want you all to understand is that the things that we have been praying for, the things that we are now, some of us are walking in it. These are some big places that we're going to be sitting and we're going to be walking in. And so because it's a big place and it's a big responsibility, I need you to walk in there and own it. I shared with you all last week to walk tall, speak boldly, walk with purpose. That's exactly what we have to do in this current time that we're living in. There's no time for shrinking. There's no time for backing up. There's no time for any of that. You know, I need you all to be standing and not shrinking. Okay? I want you all to make sure that the things that you have prayed for, that you have prepared yourself and that you're walking into it. Whatever those things that are making you feel unworthy, you need to replace that with some truths that are in your life, okay? You need to, like I said, you got to do some soul searching. You got to do some things. And as I am wrapping up on tonight, it's already 7:30. As I am wrapping up tonight, I want you to know these couple of things. That you are not out of place, that you are not too late, you're not too old, you're not too young. You are exactly where you need to be. And excuse me for pointing my finger, but you are exactly where you need to be. God didn't bring you this far just to freeze you in fear, or he didn't bring you this far just to leave you standing out by yourself. He didn't do that. He did not bring us this far just to leave us, okay? He brought us here because, first of all, going back to what we said, is we prayed for it. Not only did we pray for it, but that's the place that we're destined to be. So for some of us, we are actually in our place of destiny. He brought us here so we can function in that place and to flourish, okay? When we get into, we started off by talking about a season. I talk a little bit about gardening and different things. When you plant your seeds and you do all of these things, you planting hoping for a harvest. You are planting hoping for those things in that garden to flourish. And if I have any farmers on here, which I think I saw one earlier, but if we have any farmers on here or gardeners on here, and my mom can tell you, is that when you plant things, you plant them hoping for a harvest. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. So I need you to walk boldly in the things that you once begged for. Wow. So I should have saw a lot of hearts right there. I should have saw a lot of hearts right there. You heard what I said. I need you to walk boldly in the things that you once begged God for. And I speak clearly in the rooms that I once only dreamed of. This is what I need you to tell yourself. That I speak clearly in rooms that I only dreamed of. And that I will serve well in every space that God sends me. Okay? That's all that I have for you on tonight. I think that was a lot. I really think that was a lot. But that's really all that I have for you on tonight. But let me tell you what we're going to talk about on next week. So I need you to come back. Okay? This is going to be good. So next time we're going to talk about what happens when your circle can't handle your elevation. Ooh, that's a good one. We're talking about the people that are trying to stand on your backs because they can't handle the elevation where you're at. So we're going to talk about that on next week, all right? All right, everybody, listen. This is the other Mother Theresa from East Texas, that is, that have been grandstanding with you on tonight. And I really hope that everybody was able to get something out of the conversation that we had on tonight. You all, I'm trying to find my music and I can't find it. Let me see where it's at. I hope you all were able to find. Hey, Sister Veronica, I'm so glad that you're here with us on tonight. I hope that everybody was able to get something out of what I shared on tonight. Because let me just tell you, grandstanders, that's who you are to me. You are my grandstanders. But I hope that you were able to get something, because this is the thing. We can walk around and we can hold our heads down. I see my honey. Honey, come tell the people good night. Um, y'all, I better stop talking, because guess what he'll do? He'll walk out of the room. We walk around sometimes with our heads held down, and you all just bear with me. I'm not quite gone yet, so just don't go anywhere. We walk around with our heads held down, and sometimes you all, the reason why we're holding our heads down is because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. We don't understand where God has placed us. We don't understand what we're supposed to be doing. And when we don't understand what we're supposed to be doing, guess what? We walk around like we don't have a purpose. And we really, really do. We have a purpose. And the thing about it is that our purpose is your destiny. Some of us have been praying for things. Some of us have been asking God for certain things. And when he gives it to us, we act like, what? It's like we're surprised that it happened. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when you are finally at the point where God has placed you what you prayed for. And when you're finally at that point, I need you to walk tall. I need you to walk boldly. I need you to speak clearly and loudly. And I need you to walk in there with purpose. And be intentional. Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. My honey said be intentional. Now, see, he can say that on the other side of the camera, but I can't get him to come over here and share with me. But he's absolutely right. We've got to be intentional in everything that we do. In everything that we do. So as my sister Cynthia says, good night, grandstanders. And I hope you all have a great week. I look forward to seeing you all here on next week at the same time. Listen, bring somebody with you. Tell somebody about this the conversations that we had on tonight. Don't forget to share this. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it on your other pages. If you have other pages, put it on there. All right, I appreciate everybody. Listen, y'all have a great night on tonight, and I will see you all the next time. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Listen, just in case if you didn't know, this is TJ Culpepper, and if you need some jingles, he got you. This is part of his destiny. This is part of the purpose that he has, okay? So if you need a jingle, and let me just tell you, you can just have a little jingle in your mind, and you can call him and tell him, TJ, listen, I need this kind of music. Can you give me about a 1-minute jingle? Especially for my content creators that are on here, you need your own music so you won't get that copyright strike. So have TJ to create some music for you. All right? All right, everybody. Listen, this is called In the Meantime, because guess what? In the meantime, as you're trying to get to where God has you to be, you're going to need to go through the meantime. And so as we're walking in the meantime, just remember, it's only going to be a short season until he delivers you and takes you exactly where you need to be. All right, good night. Y'all, I wish I could show y'all my husband. All right, good grandstanders. I hope you all enjoyed that extended version. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on next Tuesday. Bye-bye, everybody.